I'm Ken Bianco Jr. and welcome to TrainWorld TV. Today we have a very special in-person, in-studio guest, and it's Curtis Koch, and he's live in person. He's the real deal from Broadway Limited, and Broadway Limited is actually here today for our TrainLand in-store event, and it has been fabulous. So many people have attended, really well received.
Very well received, yeah.
And people are so excited to see Broadway's new announcements, the new products, to see Curtis in person. So we really had a great day. So it's been amazing. So thank you to everyone who joined us today and stopped in. I think Curtis was really happy to be here. So we really appreciate him making the trip from Florida and traveling.
It was great to be up here. It was great to bring some new samples for people to see, some that they haven't been able to see publicly yet.
Yeah.
So if you were here in store, you got the ability to see some really cool stuff, some of which you probably see on the table in front of us here. And thanks again to everybody who came out and they took advantage of some great deals.
That's right.
On some Broadway Limited products in store today.
Yeah.
So again, thanks to everybody who came out and thanks to you guys for hosting me here. It's been great. I'm really looking forward to coming back in the future.
Well, thank you, Curtis. And it's really important, you know, Broadway does a great job, and for them to come down, it's really awesome. It's that old school retail store feel, and people just coming in, asking questions, buying in a retail setting. It's like COVID never happened, just in regular days, so it was really nice to see.
And I can't tell you how many new product ideas customers have come up and asked me, are you going to do this? How about doing this? And so going back to Florida with a lot of new ideas, a lot new suggestions from you guys, and it's been great to meet everybody and great to get a tour. It's kind of always a bucket list thing to kind of come here, especially if you're a customer and you know TrainWorld and you know the stock that they have. It was so cool to get a little bit behind the scenes of how everything operates here and get to see some really cool thing like the Sopranos Blue Comet downstairs was really cool. There's a lot of great things to see. So if you ever get the chance to come to Long Island and come out to the store, you guys got to come check it out. It's a must stop.
That's awesome. And as we have both retail and online, you know, we try to cater to both specialties. So for the people who weren't able to make it, we want to kind of bring the show to you. So Curtis, why don't you talk about some of the projects? I mean, you have so many projects that, you know, we could be here all day and talk about. But,
really could.
Let's go over some of the key items of what you brought here today.
Sure. So let's talk about the two newest samples that I brought here today. We've got the Union Pacific Fox River Power Car, Power Car 2066, and we also brought the Fox River Theater Inspection Car. Both of these have been really, really popular and are going to be arriving later on this year. And I also brought our first painted samples of the Kenefic business cars. You guys don't have very many left, so if you guys haven't gotten your order in for these, it's time to get them in. This has been dubbed as the release of the year from some publications. So if you really want to get your hands on one of these, if you're looking to expand your Union Pacific heritage set, this is the perfect car. We've matched the paint with the Walthers cars, so you won't have any off shades of yellow or gray on your train. So great samples coming in here, and we'll have these samples at future shows later on this year too. So if you haven't gotten the chance to come here and check them out, you'll be able to get that chance to see them again in person down the road.
And Curtis, let me just interject 1 second on these. It is really important. The Kenefic cars, they brand new, amazing, and they're already sold out. I have been trying to wipe out every single distributor because the demand is so high, and we are actually in the process of deactivating some of the product SKUs because they're already pre-sold out. They're not even here yet.
Not even here
yet.
And
they're pre-selling out. So if you are on the fence, make sure you get your pre-order in. Some of these road numbers and paint schemes are actually close to selling out, so we're going to be making them non-active. But there still is time on the power car and also the theater car. So again, if you don't want to miss the boat on these, so make sure you get your pre-orders in. And people are going nuts for these.
Yeah, these are 3D printed samples that we've got here, so they're not the final product. Obviously, the glass that if you look on the theater car is not very see-through. It will be like how you will see on here. But the demand for these cars has been astronomical across the board. I know you guys have seen the orders come in, and across the board, everywhere has been selling out on these cars. So if you haven't jumped on yet, yeah, you got some artwork here, and we'll have some renders too for you guys to see them too. That these will be awesome cars to add to your Union Pacific excursion train, which many people have probably seen over the last year or so when Big Boy 4014 made its tour across the Midwest and out west of California. So these are definitely the cars that you're going to want to get your hands on, because we expect these to be fully sold out by the time of delivery. We're already going to be sold out of the Kennefic cars by delivery, and they should be arriving in the next couple of weeks. They're already on the water right now.
Wow.
So if you haven't gotten your order in, again, it's important to get your pre-order
Yeah.
in. It guarantees that you get them at delivery.
Right.
I know some customers like to wait until they arrive, but sometimes for cars like these where the demand is so high, you won't get that chance.
Yeah.
So if you're able to place a pre-order, then at least when you come in store, you'll be able to physically see it because you're guaranteed to get it. So
Right.
it's the best way to go about it. Highly recommend doing that.
Without a doubt. So lots of great stuff in HO, and you mentioned the Big Boy. You re-announced the Big Boy, and we were close to selling out. And we tried to get whatever we could from the distributors, and you guys had to actually try to get more orders in and factors, because there was so much demand for it. It's amazing.
The not this current run of Big Boys that we have, but the previous run, we still had about 100 customers that had orders that they missed the deadline. They ordered after the deadline, and they weren't able to get one last year.
Wow.
So I say this a lot. If every project sold as well as the Big Boy, we would be doing a heck of a lot more stuff, you know? But it's the importance of pre-orders to guarantee that you get one is what I've stressed earlier. And it's really the same thing for locomotives or rolling stock. If you're looking to get something, it's best to put your name on it and reserve it. And you guys do it. You can put a plate pre-order in for free.
Yeah.
And
no money down.
No money down, no cost. So that way it's yours when you get it and when they come in. And it really is the best way to reserve it. And I know a lot of customers ask us, why are you doing another Big Boy? We're already sold out of this coming run. And we announced it shortly after the previous run. So it really is the most popular locomotive right now on the rails in HO, and no matter what scale you collect.
That's right. And it helps pay for some new announcements, which last week you just had the NS F units.
The Norfolk Southern F units. We tweaked our tooling to make sure that these Norfolk Southern F units are going to be accurate per the prototype.
Wow.
So those are going to be really good. The recessed ditch lights is something that a feature that other manufacturers who have made those locomotives haven't done before accurately. So we've done that. We've added extra details on the roof. So if you're modeling the Norfolk Southern business train, this is a good opportunity for you to get the locomotives. And if the locomotives do really well, we'll add some future Norfolk Southern style business cars onto it as well.
Okay.
So the possibilities are endless for us when it comes to those projects.
That would be awesome.
Absolutely.
Now, lots of stuff in HO scale, but we also have, or you have
Can't
stuff
forget
in
about
N scale.
Yes,
Yeah.
can't forget about the N scalers. I know N scalers are really eager for a lot of new stuff to come in. Right now in stores, we've got new F units. We got the CSX one here. That's painted after their executive scheme that ran in the 80s and 90s. So if you're modeling that, you'll be able to replicate that. Our N-scale E units, very, very popular.
Wow.
The E7 there, the New York Central paint scheme. Road-specific details on these. I mean, you look at the Union Pacific one in particular, and you kind of get blown away by how much detail is added in on those.
Wow.
And the Santa Fe War Bonnet ones, I mean, the War Bonnet is just such a popular paint scheme to begin with, and it's really cool to see these finally coming in. The E units will be in later on this year. We're hoping for around May, and we got a lot of other great paint schemes. So if you don't see the paint scheme that you like up here, maybe you like the Pennsylvania Railroad or some other railroads, go on our website or go check out TrainWorld's website. They'll have all the list of paint schemes there for you to get your pre-order in. Beautiful. And you'll be able to get these in later on this year.
That's great.
And finally, one last little N-scale item, and I don't mean little in terms of because it's N-scale. We got the N-scale NW2s and SW7s. These little switchers are great pullers and are perfect for switching around. I got the Amtrak one here, so if you're switching around Amtrak cars in a yard, in a coach yard, or you're doing some industrial freight switching like the Indiana Harbor Belt one, you've got a lot of different options, a lot of different paint schemes. If you go on to TrainWorld's website, you'll see the full list that are available there, and these are going to be coming in later on this year as well. So we got a lot of great stuff coming.
I actually loved one paint scheme you did. It's the candy cane.
The Christmas Santa's Workshop.
I thought that was really funny.
It's really cool. Our artist does a great job with the really cool Christmas schemes, and you'll get it in just in time for next Christmas, because this Christmas is already passed. But
this Amtrak is neat.
It's very neat.
Really cool.
Those locomotives are always very, very popular, and you can do a lot with with end scale in a small space, and especially if you live here in the New York area, you probably have a small shelf layout of some sort with end scale. So these are the perfect little switchers to handle any sort of your freight switching, passenger switching, whatever you need done.
That's awesome. And I guess reverting back to HO scale, because there's just so many projects going on. Now, this was the Amherst announcement, correct?
This was the Amherst announcement.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have the Boston and Albany Berkshires, A1A Berkshires. We also have the Lima Locomotive Works demo unit. And that unit in real life was sold to the Illinois Central. So we also have the Illinois Central version of that locomotive too represented. The Boston and Albany one is really cool because the Seaside Green is what that is called, and it looks really cool. It's not quite the green that you see on the screen here, because during our software, when we're making these renders, you can't get the exact paint chip from what a railroad used, into the software. So this is about the closest you'll get, but it looks really cool. It's a really unique paint scheme for a steam locomotive, and as part of our brass hybrid line, we have a ton of details that we put into these locomotives. And when we make these steam locomotives, we collaborate with these different railroad historical societies. So the Boston and Albany Historical Society is giving us the drawings and a lot of the information we need to make sure that these locomotives are going to be 100% accurate on the real thing. And we think we've done a really good job with these. And these will be available next spring of 2026. And you have a couple more months to get your orders in. But again, like we've stressed before, if you're on the fence about it, it's best to just go ahead and make that pre-order. It's no cost, and it's the best way to make sure that you're guaranteed you get that model when it comes in.
That's awesome. So that was Amherst announcement. So the Yellow Jackets was
TrainFest.
Back
in November.
Okay, got it. And now the Yellow Jacket is something that really hasn't been done for the HO market non-brass side, or
it's been done in brass, but it hasn't been done in a while. Non-brass in a while. Correct. Yeah. Okay. So it's been a long time coming for those, and we actually have those ones coming out in two fantasy schemes with locomotives that are kind of similar in looks. The Chicago and Eastern Illinois, which you'll see there, and the Seaboard.
Now that was an actual picture floating around.
Correct.
On when I Googled it, I saw that, and it was like a fantasy scheme, but someone actually wanted to create that engine.
Well, that engine that you probably saw on Google was one that actually ran for the Seaboard, and we in order for us to tool that, it's a little bit too expensive for just a one-off, but that locomotive, to just put the paint scheme on it, is a good alternative. So you kind of get something to represent that without it being 100% accurate. But those C&W Pacifics are really, really sharp, nicknamed the Yellow Jackets, and those will be arriving later this year, early next year at some point. So those are going to be really, really good locomotives to add for your collection. And we have the Union Pacific Fox River here, but we're doing the Chicago Northwestern one. And if you wanted to have a little bit of a fantasy excursion train, if you will, you could get the Yellow Jacket locomotive with the theater car Fox River, so you can kind of pair those two up. It adds for a nice little touch of that.
Now, we also, Curtis brought today the Long Island B6 switcher.
Yeah.
But I told him we can't even promote it anymore because we're almost sold out. So we don't want to disappoint the customers, and that's why it's really important that you get your pre-orders in on a lot of this stuff. We sell out so quickly now. They're making such great product. But the Pennsylvania B6 switchers, there's a lot more options and variety there. We still have a little more room on those. But talk about the B6 switcher project.
Yeah.
That's pretty much brand new.
Yeah, so the B6 is our first steam switcher we've done in HO scale. It's a really unique project. It's one that has had several different variations to it. We got the Pennsylvania Railroad, of course, with several different lettering and paint style options that you can find available for pre-order still. The other version that I think is really cool is actually the exclusive you guys are doing with the U.S. Army one. Because I personally have had family that have served in the military. I'm sure many of you have had family that have served in the military. Our military fantasy schemes are always so popular. And it's a great way for you to honor those that maybe liked trains and served in the military, that you want to have their memory, you know, on the layout in some way, and it's really cool to nab into that. And I go to shows all the time, and customers say, oh, you know, I like the Union Pacific, and I ordered, you know, the regular big boy, but I also ordered the U.S. Navy Fantasy Scheme big boy because my son serves in the Navy, or my father served in the Navy, and it's a great way to honor those people and to have them represented. But the U.S. Army camo scheme that you guys have in this exclusive is really sharp.
Yeah,
really sharp.
It's going to be a winner, and a lot of people love the military, U.S. Army, so it's a really cool switcher and something different where you don't really see a lot of steam Army engines out there, especially in HO, so it's going to be pretty neat. Now, talking about more new announcements, you also recently announced the 280s.
Yeah, so rerun of the consolidations. Those are going to be great. I know you guys have another exclusive with us. I know it's not accurate for the real Strasbourg 90, but it looks like Strasbourg 90. So if you're looking to add a little bit of Strasbourg flair, I think there's some rolling stock that'll be coming out in the future that you can possibly match with that locomotive. So the 280s will be coming on later this year. We're looking at August for those. So those 280s will be really popular. We got Santa Fe, Baltimore and Ohio, Northern Pacific, and a few other road names too. You can find them all on TrainWorld.com and get your pre-order in. And those are going to be really, really cool reruns for us because a lot of people like the smaller steam. And it's a good way for us to kind of fill that void while we're looking at doing some other smaller steam that we haven't announced yet, but a little teaser for you for something down the road.
Well, a little teaser for Curtis. There's actually another new exclusive that we are working on the 280. So maybe by the time we publish the video, we could show a little picture. Maybe we'll have it up on the website by then. But we're really excited, and your team has been great and working with you guys. So we're excited for that, and it should be a nice announcement.
Yeah, the steam locomotives in general with their die-cast construction and everything are always good little locomotives to add because a lot of customers love that pulling power. And what better way to add that than a few extra fun little smaller steams like a consolidation.
Everybody who has any of the Broadway Limited steam engines, they are always blown away by the smoke, the sounds, the pull. They just love the detail, and it's really just unbelievable stuff. And the hybrid locomotives are just unbelievable. And now the SD70s were like die-cast, that everybody was going crazy over that.
The fact that they weigh just under 2 pounds, and I've got some friends that have multiples of those, and they're able to pull 100+ freight cars with several of those paired up together. So the die-cast metal construction was a hit. I know they're flying off of your shelves, but besides the fact that it's metal, you've also got some brass parts on there. So the handrails, the grab irons, the horn casting are all brass parts, so you don't have the flimsy plastic on it where your handrails might, a little bit warp in. Your brass handrails are going to be nice and straight the entire time. And with Paragon 4, you got the smoke feature in there too. A lot of customers love smoke, and so our diesels have that smoke feature too. And if you don't like smoke, there is a switch you can turn it off. But it's a great locomotive.
I think you guys are like one of the only companies in HO that make smoke in the diesels, which is amazing. and their smoke units in this diesel and steam is just unbelievable. It's really well done.
It's awesome, and a lot of customers love smoke. We had a survey.
And N-scale.
And N-scale, yes. I was going to say the fact that we're able to bring it across all boards and bring it to N-scale with the Reading T1s. We had them with the big boys. The Challengers are going to be coming with smoke. We got the Santa Fe Northerns coming out later on next year that are also going to have smoke in them. I mean, N-scalers, I know a lot of you have always wanted to have the features that HO scale is. We're slowly bringing it there. So get your orders in for N-scale steam, because N-scale steam, when all these little features and stuff we're adding. And you mentioned the sounds and everything with the Santa Fe Northern project. We actually went out to California to record the sounds from the real one.
Very cool.
So you know that the sounds you're going to get on the model are accurate per the prototype too, which is really exciting.
And what's amazing, so Bob Gruba, he was on one of our shows and was talking. I didn't know how technical and of a I don't know, like a behind-the-scenes guru with the technology he was. And we were talking about the N-scale smoke and everything. He was really excited about the how to actually get it done and inside the unit. So kudos to Bob to actually getting all that done.
Bob is an innovator. He's a genius. He is awesome, and he's always thinking about how can we make our stuff better.
Yeah.
And I mean, you talk about the features. The Kennefic car is the first of its kind with the touch sensors for the lights, so you don't need a decoder to control your lights. You can just touch certain sections of the roof, and you can control the light features on there. Yeah, well, there'll be a sheet inside the package that you can look at to touch certain areas to turn on and off the lights. So we really are thinking outside the box in terms of what can we do to make our models better, and we really think we hit it out of the park.
It's funny because I went to a train show. This was maybe like 15 years ago, and we spoke about how smoke in HO was the biggest thing. And I asked certain people in the industry, can you do smoke in N-scale? And everybody said no, impossible. and you guys found a way to do it.
Nothing's impossible with us. Nothing is impossible with us. We'll think of it. We'll think of it.
As my uncle says, if we could put a man on the moon, we could do anything.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So N-scale and smoke was possible, and you guys really hit a home run with that, and people went crazy over your big boys
really
with
did.
the smoke. It was like the first time with smoke, and it was just crazy. Everybody ate it up.
And the fact that that people are now able to get smoke in N-scale, it really adds up to what we can do in the future for N-scale in terms of other features that we haven't even gotten to talking about yet, that I can't talk about yet. but hopefully there'll be some new exciting stuff for N-scale in terms of features and stuff down the road.
Very cool. Curtis, this has been excellent. We really appreciate Broadway Limited and Curtis coming down for this special day. But if you're interested in Broadway Limited product, make sure you head to TrainWorld.com. We carry the full line of Broadway Limited products, whether it's HO, N-scale, in-stock, pre-orders, whatever it is, we carry it. So make sure you head to TrainWorld.com. And thank you again, Curtis. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.